it's a big model of this, the larynx. This is that here, and then we have real ones over there. And if you blow on them, they'll make sheep sounds. You never say that to high school kids because they would be idiotic enough to do it. You'll see one of them put their mouth down and blow it, even though they're sitting in formal and they don't care. Okay, so first of all, let's just run through this. So here's your trachea. Now the trachea you're going to find starts around the level of C6 and it bifurcates at the level of T4. So it goes from C6 to T4. So that's the region you're going to find it. Okay, so that's primarily where you'll find it. So this bifurcation takes place then. If I'm at T4, what would be in the front? Sternal angle. So right around the sternal angle is where the bifurcation is. So you can pick up the bronchioles too, the primary bronchi, with a stethoscope in the front, because the lungs favor the back. So to really hear the lung field well, you listen to on the back of the person on the lateral side. In the forward, in the front, the anterior, you really don't hear the lung fields that well. That's why you notice them make you say breathe deep, breathe. When they get to the front, just breathe normal. Okay. So that's where you are. So this would be your trachea. This would be your primary bronchi. All right? Now, the secondary bronchi are the next one. So the primary bronchi would enter the lungs. Now, once you get into the lungs, you're going to start branching out. Now, in a human, you have how many lobes on the left? And how many on the right? 3. You're going to see in the cat, you got 3 and 4. The cat has more. But on a human, you have 2 and 3. So that means I should have, so this is my, now they look exactly the same, don't they? The left and right primary bronchus? No? They don't look the same to you? They're not symmetrical then, you're trying to tell me.
Because of the heart.
Because of the heart. The heart would be sitting over here. So this is, so if you describe the left, you would say what? It's longer, narrower, more vertical or horizontal? More horizontal, correct? The right would be short, wide, more vertical. So in theory, it's easier for things to fall into the right more than the left. Who knows? You get bronchitis on both sides. So it's easier for mucus to drip down to the right. So it might start in your right bronchiole before it goes over to your left. So that's a descriptive term. So that's more for written than here, but you can actually visually see it. So now I see I got two secondary bronchi on my left, and I have what? 1, 2, 3 on my right. Because I've got 3 lobes on the right to feed to, 2 on the left. So these would be the secondary. The multicolored ones would be your tertiary bronchi. And then from there you go to bronchioles, and then to the alveolus, which we'll talk about in lecture. We'll break it all the way down. Now the significance of bronchioles, the tertiary bronchi, the bronchiole is where the constriction and dilation takes place. Bronchial asthma. You get the constriction due to an allergic reaction. Okay, so you got that? Primary, secondary, the multicolored, and the tertiary. So that's what would be asked on this. In the back, and you'll see it on every model we look at, including this, you have a muscle back here. Now, when we describe the trachea, we say it's C-shaped, highly cartilaginous rings. Why do we say C-shaped, highly cartilaginous? First of all, why is it a hard structure? So it doesn't collapse. So it don't collapse anytime you exhale, correct? So it's not going to reopen and reinflate. Okay, so that's why the skeletal part of the lung has, you know, a thick, hard structure to keep it open. You know, the alveoli, because of surfactant and the fluid level it maintains, is why the alveolus don't collapse. Right? So that's right. Respiratory distress syndrome. You know, that's when you lack surfactant. You hear that? Yeah. Pulmonary hypertension, you die. They can't save you. Can't give you something. Baby can give surfactant, a newborn, but an adult you can't. You gotta do a lung transplant. They did one 2 years ago here in South County. And the woman on TBF and survived it. So in the back, C-shaped. Why is it a complete ring? What would sit behind the trachea? What? Esophagus. So why do you think we don't want to have it a complete ring versus being C-shaped? Food won't be able to pass down. Because what happens is the esophagus will expand into the back of the trachea. So back here on the trachea is a muscle called the posterior trachealis muscle. Posterior may not be down there. So that's what I'm telling you. Posterior trachealis muscle, I'm going to ask it. Posterior trachealis muscle, will be in your written notes. Posterior trachealis muscle. And that's for the expansion of the esophagus, and or something goes in here, it'll contract and push it out. Because what type of tissue is lining this?
Smooth.
Stratified columna ciliated epithelium. Cilia. Remember that? She remembers it. That's why she's smiling. Hey, I know that. All right, so we can see that. What gland would this be? We say thyroid. Thyroid gland. That's where it sits. Right here. Okay? And what cartilage would this be? Thyroid cartilage. So we're going to see, we're going to learn all that today. So we've done that, and then we're going to go down to, is it over here? Yes. See on sheep's larynx? Go to the next column. On the sheep's larynx, we're jumping around a little bit. Circle the stuff you need to know. On the sheep's larynx, or this larynx, or on this larynx, we can ask the same stuff. So hold the big one up. So what's this? Thyroid bone. What's that do? Elevates the right up to the, so it elevates the glottis up to the epiglottis to close this off when you swallow. So when you swallow, this pulls up. It's also a stabilizer for the digastrics that come in. The anterior comes in one way and the posterior comes in another way. So the posterior comes in this way, right, and holds it stable so the anterior can contract and open your jaw. So it's a stabilizer. That's why this bone is here, the hyoid bone. And it's good, like in CSI, to know if you would choke because it's fractured. Because you were strangled to death because they fractured the hyoid. It's supposed to make noise, the epiglottis. Okay, so now we see this. Something has oid to it. Oid, okay? So you got hyoid, which is a bone, thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, which makes the complete ring all the way around, cricoid, and inside, which is hooked to the vocal folds and cords, is these little ones here, the arachnoid cartilage. So it all has oid in it, right? Hyoid, thyroid, cricoid, arachnoid. That's all your cartilage is.
Can you turn it this way, Professor? Not that one, the back. Thank you.
So this one here,
yes.
arachnoid.
Thank you.
Okay? And notice the cricoid went all the way around. So the one that makes a complete ring. Okay? This is the epiglottis. Looks like a tongue sticking up. And if you look at a real one, it will look the same way. The same parts are on here. So you can see it is. So what's this? Thyroid means shield. And that's what it's doing. It's protecting all this. That's your Adam's apple. The prominence on it, it's the Adam's apple. Males usually have a more prominent one than females. Right? So if your girlfriend's got a nice prominent Adam's apple, you might be in for a surprise if you just met her.
My back.
Huh? Your back hurt? That's getting old, you're young.
I know.
Okay, so here we go. So the same thing here. Thyroid, cricoid. Inside the little one right here, arachnoid. Arachnoid. Think of a rat, arachnoid. Is that for you? That phone call? Epiglottis. Okay, so, and if you look down in this one, you can see the white in there would be your vocal cord. And you have the folds over it. Okay. So you really, they're there, but they're hard to see, so we don't ask it on practical. Okay, so that's why the true vocal cord is crossed off. I don't bother asking it. But the arachnoids will be there. So when you're looking for them on the wheel structure, you look inside and feel for them. You'll see them. You'll feel them. The hard substance on the inside is the arachnoid. Okay? So that takes care of this. Good. So now where are we? The lung. Well, we have a big lung there that you can see.